The Plumbing Marketing Profits Podcast. Interviews with million-dollar-plus plumbing and HVAC business owners on how they market and grow their companies in today's economy. Hear directly from the most successful leaders in your business and discover what they are doing to keep their phone ringing, trucks running, and businesses booming. With your host, Josh Nelson.
Hey, this is Josh Nelson with the Plumbing and HVAC Marketing Podcast, and today I'm super excited to share an interview with you of Kayla Stevenson from Polestar Plumbing, Heating and Air. They're a full-service plumbing HVAC contractor serving the greater Kansas City market. And on this interview, they share some amazing insights, how they've been able to grow to over 20 trucks, how they've developed over 960 Google reviews, and some really interesting insights on how they're leveraging social media to interact with new customers and engage with their existing customer base. Great interview. Check it out.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining in with us today. My name is Allison, and I'm interviewing Kayla over at Polestar Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Kayla, you are the marketing manager. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome. So if you can, just introduce yourself to everybody, let them know what you do there, and give us a little bit of a background on Polestar.
Okay. So hi guys, I'm Kayla. I'm the marketing coordinator here at Polestar Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. A little background on Polestar. So we've actually been serving the greater Kansas City area for almost 36 years now. So we've been around a long time, since 1984. We have about 40 employees and 20 trucks. And the thing about the greater Kansas City area is we actually service, so we're on state line of Missouri and Kansas, so we service that entire area on both sides of the state. So a pretty vast area, so yeah.
That's awesome. And so then kind of going into that, like half of a state on the other half, how is it with trying to market that? Isn't it a little bit hard to try to say, you service one state and also another at the same time?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the marketing is where the issues come into play, because it's still that area. I mean, it's a large amount of people, so you do want to broadcast as much as possible and be omnipresent everywhere in front of their faces. So what the issues get into is more getting licensed for service in the different sides of the states. That's something that other people might not have to worry about. But not only do we have to get licensed to do business in Kansas, we also have to in Missouri, and Missouri works completely different than Kansas does. So that's where it gets a little crazy.
That's where it kind of like juggles on you.
Yeah, that other companies may not have to worry about that if they're in a rural area in other states. So
right. I mean, there's some people who service, quite like a tri-state area or something like that. So you're not alone in that side of the business, but I know that it's not as often that you see something like that. So it's pretty cool that you've been able to kind of master both different states. And so we'll go into quick question, because you said that you've been around since the 80s. So I know that. So how long have you been with the company?
So I've been with the company since last May, so a little bit over a year. And I actually started out as a customer service rep. And then I think it was the end of January is where I kind of transferred into the marketing area. So I went from a customer service rep to marketing. So how that happened was I started helping out with the social media as a millennial. They're like, oh, she probably knows how to do social media, because it just comes naturally to us. So I started helping out with that. And then the guy that was in marketing before, he wanted to go a different route in sales. And so they were going to hire someone, and they're like, well, how about you do it? And so I was like, okay. And so I just completely delved into it, and I love it. I'm trying to learn everything I can. And you guys have helped me out a ton as well with the marketing. And I do think that starting out in the customer service rep position was really helpful, because it helped me with the industry language. That's something that is beneficial. It's not necessary, I'd say, but it definitely is beneficial whenever you're trying to market to that specific industry. So I think that was awesome that I got to start there and then move in this position.
Yeah, I mean, that happened pretty quickly for you, so congratulations.
Thank you.
But I can understand, I mean, us millennials, we are like the younger generation. We're the youngest working class right now. And so I'm sure there's a lot of business owners out there who may have some CSRs that are willing to step up to that plate. Mm-hmm. So could you say anything to maybe a business owner that may want to hand off marketing to someone?
Yeah, so I think that obviously there's a lot of trust that goes into that. But if you see a hunger in them, some people look at millennials as lazy. But what I have noticed about our generation is we just want to feel value. So if we're looking for a company and we see growth, a potential, we'll want to stay there. We're not going to want to hop around because we feel like we're a part of the growth process. So I just say for business owners that maybe are looking for those millennials, there's hungry ones out there. It's just if they see value in a roadmap for success, then they'll want to stick around and they'll definitely put their heart into it like it was their own company. So that's it.
That's awesome. Okay, so then back to the business. So you've been with them for about a little bit over a year, and you guys started with us earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. You worked with Deanna. She has nothing but amazing things to say. She's and awesome. We actually had the pleasure of meeting in person earlier this year in March, so that was pretty cool. Yeah. But so how did the company itself start?
So our CEO, Mark, he is actually third generation. So his grandfather, he loves to tell a story, but his grandfather, he started out his own business a long time ago. I don't know the exact date, but and then his father did it. He had his own plumbing, heating, cooling business. So, and then he did it as a 22-year-old. So he went right into it. He went to college for it, and then he graduated early. And the economy, I think that was in the 80s. So the economy at that point was not very good. But the thing about plumbing, heating, cooling is everyone needs you. Whether, you already have that foundation because whether they want you or not, they're gonna have an issue regardless. And so that's the good thing about it. And he's done this for his whole life. Like whenever his dad and his grandpa, were having their own businesses. He's been in the shop with them right from the trenches. He was a technician. And so it just runs in his blood.
So then is there a fourth generation on the way also?
Yeah, so actually his son just started in, I think, the end of May as a business developer. So he's helping out with all of our organization things. So whenever you ramp up your marketing, a lot of times you see things come up that in-house that you need to fix those processes before you can, ramp it up a step farther, especially when you're in a growth spurt like we are. And so he's helping out with all those organization and just the day-to-day operation things that we need help in order to grow. So it's really exciting, and we're in the right direction for sure.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And so you mentioned a growth spurt. Do you mean, so you're running 20 trucks? Is it that you weren't running these many not too long ago, or are you starting to bring on more additional people? Yeah. So
I think the way that we've grown is we have a really solid foundation, really good customer base. And we've just, as we grow, bring in more people, as we grow, bring in more people. But now our goal is to become the biggest company in plumbing, heating, cooling company in Kansas City. That's our goal and our mindset here across the board in the company. So, yes, we're bringing in more people. We have more trucks than usual. We're trying to get more creative. I mean, bringing in companies like you, strategic partners to help us grow, things like that they had never done before, because the mindset at that point wasn't looking at, let's become the biggest plumbing, heating, cooling company in Kansas City. But now that's where we're headed. So we're really excited, and that's the growth spurt that we're going through right now.
That's great. I mean, 20 trucks is a lot of trucks. So I know that's hard to manage. And so congratulations on that. I mean, just off the bat, 20 trucks, it sounds like you're not too far away from becoming the biggest plumbing and heating company in Kansas City. I can't be wrong. I'm not sure, how deep that competition can be. But with 20 trucks, you can't be too far behind.
Yeah. Well, our market is very saturated. That's the thing, because we're on that state line there. Even Deanna, she said that whenever she looks at our market, she's like, it is a crazy amount of plumbing, heating, cooling companies. I don't know off the top of my head how many, but there's tons. And it's kind of crazy how many there is. And some of them come and go, but there is those monsters that we're Yeah.
state. No, I understand. I mean, bigger cities like that, bigger known cities, that's where you see such, saturated markets, a little bit more expensive of a cost per click. And so that kind of speaks as to why it's so important to have a marketing manager in-house overseeing all of the data and not just having the owner kind of juggle all of the hats.
Yeah.
But with something as big as 20 trucks, I'm sure you guys have at least 4 CSRs, if I'm not mistaken. How many in the office would you say?
How many people in the office altogether?
Mm-hmm.
Out of those 40, there's probably about 15 in the office. Yeah.
So it's a big staff. I mean, overall, a huge staff.
And
so
we're growing and growing as well.
Yeah, and so it takes a lot to manage such a big staff. And so what training opportunities have you guys gone through? Do you bring anybody in-house to train, or do you seek that, through the internet? How is it that you can get, a leader in every single department to kind of pull this company forward? I mean, it does take a lot for something as big as yours.
Yeah. So, I mean, it all comes down to organization and just trying to create, implement things that are simple that everyone can know how to do, even if because whenever you're growing, sometimes you have to wear more hats than, your actual position. But as far as training goes, for a while, we used Power Selling Pros for our CSRs. So that really helped out. Just they give really good feedback and on the CSRs to train them how to sell and be empathetic even to a customer, the human side of these customers that whenever they're calling in and they're plumbing, heating, cooling, we just think of it as, the job, but these people are going through, the heat and the cold and all that. And so, those kind of processes as well. And then I just say just making everything as organized and simple as possible so we can all be on the same page and everyone knows how to do everything.
Definitely. And so when it comes to marketing, are there other channels that you guys utilize besides, our services as an internet marketing company?
Yeah, we do quite a bit of different areas. So one thing that we just started up is TV and radio. Okay. So as far as TV and radio goes, I think that the way we have it set up is they complement each other really well. So like we'll hit like Sunday night news and then we hit really heavy Monday morning on radio. And so the people that maybe had saw us and like in the back of their mind Sunday night, they're getting ready to prepare for the week. And, I did need to call a plumbing, heating, cooling company because I had this issue. And then they hear us, on their way to work Monday morning. And it kind of like hits them back to back.
Right. It clicks. It's like, oh wait, I just heard about them.
And what we really like, just like how you guys are exclusive to certain areas. So for radio, that's kind of what we look for, because obviously we don't want to be doing the same things our competitors are doing, especially when we're growing. And so on our radio show, we're the only one that does a sponsor for that show during the day. So he doesn't sponsor any other people during his show. So he'll live, like it's almost like a word of mouth referral. Like he'll say, he'll do our campaign and say, you need to call Polestar Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. He doesn't do that for any other company. So we really like that about it as well.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean, exclusivity is so important, especially with such a saturated market as yourselves. I mean, it's impossible to use someone's services and then have them also be assisting your competitor. It's just unethical. And so that's something that I love about, the company that I work for. And I love working with my clients. So although we don't work personally together, Deanna, she works closely in your market. She understands your market. And I guess, I assume that that's probably one of the most valuable things that you guys get from us. I'm sure you have many other things to say, but with Deanna, knowing your market in specific, it does help us when it comes down to the type of leads that we're trying to get you, the conversion on that end, and the return on investment that you're seeing on your end. So again, that obviously hands down is very important.
Yeah.
So then a couple of questions. You had mentioned that you first started with the social media. Are you continuing to work in that avenue? How important would you say that social media is in today's day and age?
I think it's all about the way that you do it. Because of our industry, I think that sometimes we can get caught up in thinking that everyone's super interested in plumbing, heating, cooling, like, or we throw out these brand names that homeowners, they might not be as excited as we are about them. And so I think it's all about the way that you do social media. So it can be really huge. So if you just relate more to like, what are your customers wanting to see? They're not wanting to see like little memes or, like things like that they might not even understand. So what we try to do with our social media is, and I think we've gotten pretty good at it, is doing like the technicians, they'll send me pictures, like selfies of them in the field. It's more lifestyle, like what are we doing here? Like I just think that our customers relate to that more. And then like yeah, so and then we just started up today, actually we did like a Polestar live, that's what we call it, and it's a live YouTube video, and I interview a technician and he goes over like different things that homeowners want to know about. Like today we went over air filters, and we can post that on our social media and just get more engagement with that.
Yeah, and I mean, it takes no time on your end to do that. I mean, it'll probably take no more than 5 minutes to interview a technician, but it does bring so much value to your profile. And although, I mean, social media is free. I mean, we don't have to necessarily advertise on social media to have a presence on there. And so it costs us nothing as, companies to go on there, do a quick live, and then it's good content for someone to reference in the future and kind of give you a homey feel, right? So it makes you more relatable for the person searching. And so that's definitely a good idea. So that's actually something that I'm going to keep in mind for my clients when I speak to them. I mean, a quick interview like that goes a long way. Yeah.
And what we suggest to the people that tune into our show is like they can comment videos, because obviously we don't want to sit there and talk about things that they don't want to hear. So if they comment like suggestions for future videos of different topics that we want to cover, so that way we're not just talking and they're like, oh, we don't care about that.
Yeah, we don't really, and then they log off, right? You want to keep them engaged in the content that you're producing.
Yeah, it's all about the engagement. And I think that if they see us, what are we doing as a company, and how's the, what's the culture like, and all that kind of stuff, that's what customers want to see out of us. Or even contests, like whenever we do contests as well on our social media, and we try to do video, like something, because I know whenever I try to think about what I do, and whenever I'm on Facebook and I see a video, even if it's the dumbest thing, like I'll sit there and watch it. So, those little videos that, maybe only take 30 seconds, those are what get the engagement.
Yeah. And so when you say our show, I mean, can you speak a little bit more to that? It sounds intimidating for someone who may be listening in, like, I have a company to run. I already have so many things to do. I can't imagine starting a show on social media. Can you just speak to that real quick? I know, it doesn't take much time. Maybe just one person in the staff can be in charge of that. And so can you maybe discuss how you guys got that started?
Yeah. So actually, one of our CSRs, he does like a lot of digital stuff for us as well, because he's really into that. And he came up with the idea. And so I said, yeah, sure, I'll host it. And, it does, people might think that it takes a lot of time, but really today, all I did was I got the technician that I knew would speak well about that certain topic. Okay. And then I just cut him a break during like his job that he's going to that day. And then I prepared a couple questions to go over with them, and it took literally 10 minutes. And so we just sat in front of the camera, and whenever, the thing about live is you don't have to keep redoing it. As soon as you put it on, it's on there. So it really doesn't take much time, and that's something that will be on your YouTube, and you can stream it on Facebook. You can put that anywhere and use it multiple times. So it's not something that you have to keep redoing. It will be on there for as long as you want it to. So it really didn't take much time. We're probably going to do that once a month now that we started it, and we saw a lot of engagement on it today. So I think it's beneficial.
Yeah, at once a month, it doesn't take too much time out of your schedule. And so for anybody listening, I think this is a fantastic idea. Just get with your staff and listen to all of their strengths. I'm sure there's somebody on staff that can be willing and able to do something like this. And I think that even a small 10-minute interview with one of your technicians will really go a long way. So Kayla, thank you for that awesome insight and little nugget that I hope someone else replicates, because again, it's a great idea.
And real quick, to add on to what you said, I completely agree. And also, I just thought of this as you were talking, the way that it makes the technician feel special, that just helps out immediately with culture. And, he's going to feel special, like, oh wow, they asked me to be a part of this because they know I'm knowledgeable in this area. So like, if you think about it from that aspect as well, that's something that can help the company's culture as well.
Yeah, and culture, I mean, especially nowadays, it's so important. It's very hard to find technicians, and then it's harder to keep them. So as long as the morale is up in the office, the culture is there, and you're recognizing your technicians for, anything small, even as simple as an interview, or just, hey, you did a great job. We saw that review come in. I mean, that keeps that, that morale up. And so in the long run, it's only going to help you.
Yeah. And that's something that I know some companies struggle with, because even we have. So whenever your technicians are just out in the field all day and we're here, with all the day-to-day processes in the office, just simple things like that can connect the two, because sometimes you just feel like they might feel isolated, and that's just a way to bring them in and feel a part of the growth of the company. So if you look at it from that, it's very beneficial.
That's awesome. I mean, you'd never want to just send them out there and then kind of forget them and say, "Oh, thanks for doing the job." But no, you want to
be here without them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then, kind of piggybacking onto the review side of things, how is it that you guys generate your reviews? Do you ask for reviews? Do you make it a competition internally with your technicians? Give us a little bit of insight on how you guys do that.
Okay. So as we know, reviews are huge nowadays. Like, it's basically like word of mouth to people. Even I before didn't really give reviews myself, but whenever I'm going to search for a product or a restaurant, I don't move forward with anything unless they have good reviews on it.
I know, there's so many people like that.
It's crazy. And it really is like, it's more valuable than a referral. And obviously with SEO and all that, we understand that side of it, but in-house, so right now on Google, we're sitting at a 4.8 with about 930 reviews. And so we're pretty close to 1,000, which is exciting.
That's a lot of reviews.
Yeah, that's a milestone right there. And so I'd say for our company, everyone is just here, understands the value of them, and we're really passionate about them. So we put a lot of emphasis on it. So every day we bring in the technicians for their meetings, and they go over, the importance of reviews. But even I'll send them, they probably get annoyed with me, but I'll send them little motivational reminders. I have them all in a group text, and I'll be like, I'll like throw things out there about like how the importance of reviews, and like, I always congratulate. So if I saw a technician got or a 5-star review the day before, I'll throw their name out there in the text so they get a shout out. And I think that they like that. They're like, oh, cool. They shouted out my name because I got a 5-star. And so we also, and then I do, so whenever customers complete jobs, I always send out review reminders, even though we do the automatic review request as well. I always send out just an one-time email that they get about the review and our review contest. So I'll go into that. We have once a month, I do a drawing for our reviews from our customers. So we also involve our customers in it as well as our technicians. So they get a chance to win a $100 Visa gift card whenever they submit a Google or Facebook review for us. So I put them into a drawing. And then what we do is we do a video whenever we're picking out the winner. And so that's on our social media. So our customers can be a part of that and see us actually drawing the winner. And then we always bring the customer in, and I always give them their gift card, and we talk with them and thank them, obviously. And we always get a picture for our social media as well. And so we involve our customers, and then I'll text the technicians like, hey, that was your customer that won the $100 Visa gift card, and then it gets them all excited, and then they can use that to tell their other customers like, hey, my customer won last month, like, so I must be pretty lucky. It's just something that they can
it's just like a fun, hey, give us a review, you have this chance, or just engaging the client with the technician. So that's great. That's another good idea. So definitely have a couple of great insights. You've only been there a year, but I'm sure that the company has felt the positive impact since you've stepped into this role. So
yeah, and I have really good people around me that, help me out with, like our owner. He's so creative, and he's constantly sending me like emails of like different marketing things. And so if I have time, I can look through them and get ideas in my head, and so, or jot them down and save them for later, even if it's not something we want to move forward with yet. And so I just have really good people around me as well, to help this and get everyone on the same page, like, and understand the importance of this kind of stuff.
Definitely. So then 2 questions left. The first being about the owner. So you are the marketing manager, but can you speak to how important it is, even if the owner, isn't necessarily, doesn't have to be in the office every day, but how important it is for them to be very, involved in the business, and how that helps with you and your job, and then, other in the office and your technicians?
Well, what I really like, if I just connect it to the owner that we have here, I just feel value whenever he's so interested in what I'm doing. Because when I go share with him an idea, some people might be intimidated if their owners, they might not care to move forward or care about the marketing side of it. But because our owner is so open and excited and passionate about this marketing side of it, and he understands the importance, whenever I go to him with an idea, he gets me all excited about it. I mean, he'll definitely tell me if he doesn't think it's a good idea, but he'll always be there to listen and get me excited about it, or even give me feedback, because if I just told him everything and he's like, yeah, move forward with it, it's
right.
great. Yeah.
You would end up running the show.
Yeah. So the fact that we can kind of bounce ideas off each other, and he's so creative as well, that definitely helps out. So
awesome. And so my last question, which really is a free-for-all, do you have anything else that you'd like to say to anybody who may be listening in?
Yeah. So I'd say, as coming from a business owner's perspective of this, I'd say what our CEO, he says, you can't be an island. I mean, you can't just think that you can reinvent the wheel. And that's something that some of them, they do, and they get stuck in their ways, and they don't want to do the latest technology, or they let their ego get in the way. But there is, round tables like Nexstar Service Roundtable that you can reach out to and share ideas with other plumbing, heating, cooling companies. Because if it's working in another state, like, it's definitely it's not just like you need to recreate everything. You just need to learn how to implement it in your own way. It might not be the same way they implement it, but the creative side of it, you could
right. There's like building principles they can just reference while you're building yours.
Yeah. And as far as like I know some people, or some business owners, let their ego get in the way. So just being more open to it, and not being afraid of failure, because that's just how you learn, is through, we're all going to fail. Not everything's going to go smoothly the first time, but just that's how you learn and grow. So, and then just also taking what you're good at, and looking at, even like analytics will show just what you're good at, and just not dominating that area and going 10 times harder on it. And otherwise you'll just be average if you don't do that. So I think that's definitely beneficial.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, Kayla, thank you for jumping on with me on this interview. Thank you for speaking to the millennial generation, to business owners, anyone alike. You had some really good ideas. I hope that some of these people can replicate, even just the social media into their day-to-day activities with their office. I mean, I think that would be great. So again, thank you.
Yes, thanks for having me. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Well, I hope you got amazing value from that interview. If you'd like more ideas, strategies, and techniques on how to more effectively market your plumbing, HVAC, or home services business online, go to plumbingmarketing.net. There you'll find interviews just like this, and the opportunity to schedule a time with us to just kind of talk about your business and how we can help you implement similar strategies in your business. So plumbingmarketing.net, head over there now, and I'll talk to you soon.